जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय यमुनातिरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी नचा जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Bring it down a little bit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So, are we doing a translation or I'm just English? Okay, that's better. Okay, so we read the other day about the installation of the deities, and then after that, in the afternoon when Prabhupada had a little extra time, he met with Jayapataka Swami and Gagamuni Maharaj. So Jayapataka Maharaj, of course, was based in Mayapur, and Gagamuni Maharaj, he was very busily engaged in raising funds for the project in Mayapur. So we'll pick up there from where Prabhupada met with his two sannyasis. Okay. So Prabhupada referred to his recent meetings with the endowments minister and their discussions about what to do with the funds which are donated to Balaji at Tirupati. He is inclined to spend a huge income of Tirupati for Krishna consciousness, but he is bound up by his other colleagues. They are applying the money. So he is willing to call all the ministers if I can convince them, and I shall try for it. So the endowments minister, very nice man, very pious, let's say, but no proper understanding of Krishna consciousness, how to make one's life spiritually successful. People are very interested in stockpiling money in the bank, but Prabhupada advised the endowments minister that you make an arrangement so that all these funds that are coming in to Balaji are spent only for Balaji's purpose, not for any other purpose, giving loans to industrialists and this kind of thing. So he is inclined to spend huge income of Tirupati for Krishna consciousness, but he's bound up by his other colleagues. So he wanted to take advantage of Prabhupada being here to introduce him to the other politicians in Hyderabad, the Andhra Pradesh government. And Prabhupada explained the spiritual considerations in the giving and utilization of money. He said, the karmis, the village cultivators or big men, industrialists, they're all going to Tirupati. Whatever they can spare, they are offering. So this is yagyate. If this money is taken, and again, if it is brought into karma, then it is misleading. Just like the people are giving us money. They are karmis. But because they are giving us, and we are engaging the money in Krishna consciousness, so the money is fully utilized. But if this money is taken, and again given to the karmis, then it's a farce. His purpose is served, the giver, but one who is misleading, he becomes criminal. He is to be punished. So suppose in our Krishna consciousness movement, somebody gives us some money. So he is giving in good faith. It is a very good organization. But if I misspend that money, then I am responsible, and then I will be punished. His business is finished. Krishna noted, that this man has given his hard-earned money for spreading Krishna consciousness. If I take that money for spreading Krishna consciousness, if I take that money, instead of doing Krishna consciousness, if I use it for my sense gratification, then I will be responsible. What is the use of Krishna's money being used in industry? Any purpose outside of Krishna consciousness, let this money be utilized for spreading the glories of Krishna. But they do not recognize Krishna. All the so-called Bhagavad Gita readers, they want to kill Krishna. Reporting on the situation in our Calcutta temple, Jayapataka Swami and Gagamuni Maharaj told Prabhupada that Abhiram Prabhu, the president there, had tried to obtain permission from the local authorities to build a temple in the center of the lake in the park across the road from our temple. The Calcutta Corporation at first were not inclined, but the Minister of Municipal Affairs liked the idea. So I think they, at least in Calcutta, maybe other places, there was a government policy. If there were some tracts of land or water areas, then they would give permission to some organization to beautify a certain area. So you get they would get the utility of the area, the land and the lakes, etc. And in that way, then the municipality, they didn't have to spend their money, but they give some permission to some other organization to come in and make it nice. So Prabhupada was interested in doing that, but then there was a catch attached to that they will not allow any deity to be installed, because they knew that if you have deities installed, then it's very difficult to get them out. Krishna won't go. So Prabhupada took advantage of that also in Bombay when they were having the fight to get Juhu Beach property, Hare Krishna land. So Prabhupada, as soon as he made the initial deal with the sellers, then he immediately moved, although he had not, they had not exchanged all the money, but Prabhupada still immediately got some opportunity. He put the deities, Radharas Bihari, on the property. There was no proper temple, just some tin corrugated iron roof, little small place. But Prabhupada knew once Radharas Bihari, if he moves onto the land, then nobody will be able to move them off again. So anyway, that's the whole history. You can read Giriraj Maharaj's book about what's it called? I'll build you a temple. Yeah, that's 800 pages. It's quite a tome. But it was a big fight. But Prabhupada told us, he said when he moved onto the land, then I prayed to Radharas Bihari that, my dear Lord, if you just kindly sit down and do not move, I will build you a wonderful temple. So this is the transaction that goes on between the devotees and the inner exchange. Only a devotee can understand. So like with Balaji, Prabhupada's talking specifically that you shouldn't take that money which you have, all right, that's obtained by karma. A person who is a karmi means a person who's working for material advancement. So Prabhupada's saying here that those who are giving their hard-earned wealth, they'll get the benefit from that gift, but those who are receiving that wealth, then what they do with that, they'll be held accountable. So if they don't use the money in a proper way, it was obtained by karma, by the karmi, and then if the government takes it back and then reapplies it in more karmic activity, then it's sinful. So we should be very careful that whatever funds, whatever facilities that are offered to us on behalf of Krishna, or here on behalf of Balaji, so we have to be very careful how we utilize that for spreading Krishna consciousness. That's the main purpose. There's always money available for the industrialists and their endeavors. But the real endeavor of human life is to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are His servant. Whatever we do as an offering to the Supreme Lord. Then everybody will become very satisfied. So, in Calcutta, then Abhiram was giving his report that the municipality were interested in allowing the lake across the road from our temple to beautify it, and people can go and sit and relax, have a nice place in the middle of the city. So, but he said they would not allow any deity there. Why? Because as soon as the deity comes in, he's the boss. So you can't move him. So Jayapataka Maharaj, Prabhupada told them that in the park, people can come and we can decorate the whole hall with pictures. So he advised building a hall, and then gradually he said we can put one picture inside. Jayapataka and Mr. Chowdhury similarly suggested that we should bring the deities once a week and simply hold kirtan at other times. He thought that in this way the deities can gradually stay for 1 week, then a month, so somehow or another get in there. Even if you just bring a picture once a day and have kirtan, that begins. Then people gradually get used to that. Then you increase it once a day. Then you have a deity, you bring him once a week, take him back, bring him again, like this. So gradually, you get to the point where they can't be moved anymore. So Prabhupada liked that idea, as he's eager to see the project come about, considering it the best spot in Calcutta. And from a philosophical and practical point of view, it was appealing to both ends of the political spectrum. Anyone can come to the park, Prabhupada said. Convince them. Come on, take prasadam sumptuously, so they'll be satisfied. They are hungry, and actually they are hungry, poorly paid, capitalists and the workers. So the trouble is, the capitalists, they are taking all the profit, and they are enjoying life in wine and women. So naturally the worker will see that. Oh, why we are working so hard, and they are making all the profit, and they are enjoying, and we do not live in a very nice house. It is a slum. So naturally, Prabhupada said, they will be envious. If the capitalists spend the money for Krishna consciousness, in each and every factory, they hold festivals and give them eatables like anything, everything will be successful. So that's not exactly a direct order, but that was something that Prabhupada pushed our devotees actually. If you can make friends with the big zamindars or the holders of the wealth, then you can arrange. They can use their wealth to hold festivals for the workers in their factories. So he told us that you can go to every factory owner, and every day or whenever, as much as you can frequently allow, you have some kirtan, you have some prasadam distribution. Then this agitation between the communists and the capitalists, that will subside. If the people get, if every day the workers, if they can go and get some prasadam, then they'll become very satisfied, and they won't want to agitate anymore. I think there was actually a letter that I read of Srila Prabhupada's he wrote this in, I think, the late 1950s, where he described this. This was one program that he would like to initiate to feed people sumptuous prasadam, have some kirtan, just otherwise stay where you are in your work. You have to work and get some money. But in this way, Prabhupada was trying to he was trying to improve people's lives through spiritual activity. There's no improvement through ordinary material work. You just simply work hard like an ass, and then you die. I remember our god brother, Srila Swami. He had a sticker on his suitcase, and it said, "Life is tough, and then you die." So that's the situation actually. Yeah, we're all headed in the same direction. Temporarily we may be higher or lower, but when you're faced with Yamaraj, there's no escape. You get what you deserve. Okay, so Prabhupada liked the idea, as he is eager to see the project come about, considering it the best spot in Calcutta. So this is still the same place we are. All right. So Gargamuni Maharaj saw the possibilities for our collections to increase, and he grinned. We shall tell them that if you give your Krishna tax, this will save you from the income tax. And so, because they are raiding, that you are hoarding money, but if you give it, then there'll be nothing to be envious about. Gargamuni Maharaj saw the possibilities for our collections to increase. Prabhupada was nodding. Yes, the industrialists, that is also one of our programs. Let them come, let them hold festivals every Sunday as we hold. And we shall go and have kirtan and sumptuous feeding. And they'll be very satisfied. And instead of giving the income tax, let them spend in this way. Try to convince them. So that was somehow or another, mass distribution of prasadam. If you could get the wealthy capitalists, owners of the if you can get them to give their money for spreading prasadam distribution and having festivals. Actually, most governments, they have systems by which the wealthy people, they can avoid tax if they pay their incomes, or some portion of it, to the government. So then they have some kind of lower income tax by giving money in charity, etc. So Prabhupada liked that, and as he's saying here, you can simply go every Sunday or whenever it's convenient, gather all the workers around, do a little puja, do some chanting, take prasadam, then everybody will be satisfied. So Gargamuni stressed that 3C Albert Road was inadequate for our needs. And besides that, we continually have difficulties with our landlord. So Prabhupada asked whether the house on the corner of the lake, which he had inspected last March, could be purchased. But Gargamuni said the owner did not want to sell. It was clear that Prabhupada wants us to do something wonderful in Calcutta. He even suggested that we try to get the famous Victoria Memorial. He said it was not being utilized, nor being properly maintained. But if we had it, Krishna would maintain everything. So that was, Prabhupada had a history actually, the Victoria Memorial. I mean, it's a big building when you're actually in there. And Prabhupada said that when they were building it, and they still had the scaffolding around the main building, he said he was about 14 or 15 years old at that time. So Prabhupada said he actually climbed up to the top of the Victoria Memorial when he was in his teens. Maybe that was some significant omen for the future. Prabhupada standing on the top of Victoria Memorial. So Prabhupada, Jayapataka Maharaj grinned, seeing the irony of such a proposal. He said, and we could have British pujaris for the glory of Queen Victoria. Prabhupada smiled. Yes, tell them that we shall bring to worship Victoria with prasadam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the real Victoria Memorial. As the meeting drew to a close, they discussed establishing a bank in Mayapur. Somebody was asking the other day about Prabhupada had once described how we should create our own independent country in Mayapur. Yeah. So at least there's some hints now and again when Prabhupada would refer to that. They discussed establishing a bank in Mayapur. So far, only a local cultivators financial corporation, the cooperative, has shown any interest. But Prabhupada doesn't want to deal with them as they want a large deposit from ISKCON. If you deposit 5 lakhs now, it will decrease in value in 5 or 10 months. The purchasing power of money is decreasing. Now, what you can purchase with 5 lakhs of rupees, after 5 years, you'll require 10 lakhs. So your money will decrease. And if you invest that money in land, after 5 years, it will increase to its full extent. So why should we waste our money? What is the benefit? So Prabhupada was saying that people are encouraged by the government to put their money in the bank. Yeah, but once it's in the bank, it actually decreases. In 5 years' time, if you look and see, then you've lost so much interest. But if you can instead invest your money in land, then in 5 or 10 years, that will increase very profitably. So Gagamuni pointed out that the farmers don't usually keep their money in the banks, although now the government is trying to force them to do it. Prabhupada was well aware of what was going on, because farmers traditionally use their money to buy land. The government has declared a land ceiling, a limit on what one individual can own. So they cannot invest money in the land. They give it to the bank. And as soon as you keep the money in the bank, it will decrease the value. So money is increased, the value of it, all over the world. Because it is not money, actually, it is paper, cheating. Real money is gold. But they will not keep the gold. The whole policy is vicious. If I purchase gold with 5 lakhs of rupees, then it is real money. And after 5 years, I can sell it for 10 lakhs. So, but that they will not allow. So, Prabhupada, I think the whole monetary system was transformed into this paper money system just, a couple of 100 years ago, 150 years ago. If you look at the history of the monetary institutions and developments, the whole business is that the government should take as much money as they can and keep it in their pockets. That's all. No benefit for the people, and the whole thing becomes a complete rascaldom. So Prabhupada was aware of that. It was during his lifetime, actually, that these kind of income tax business was developed. So therefore my policy is that whatever money is there, spend it. Don't keep. In land, you spend and produce food. That is the best use. And instead of keeping money and taking the interest, you print books. That is also good. You can sell them. Or you can purchase land for producing food. So Gagamuni had a good grasp of the principle. If we stock money, he said, then there'll be no preaching. But if we print books, then we have to sell the books. So that is preaching. Therefore I am insisting all over, Prabhupada told them. Neither mind either Hindi or English or any other, but print books and keep it all in stock. This is the first purpose of my Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. 50% must be spent for printing and 50% for building. That's all. No money. Don't keep any account. Then the government will never get envious because there's nothing there, Gagamuni added. Prabhupada said, yes, and we haven't got to keep so many accountants, auditors, and other nonsense. unnecessarily. As soon as there is a collection, invest the money for some building or in making some book and book printing. Follow this policy. I am very much eager. I have got money here and there, but I want to spend it in this way. So therefore I am advising, take this. We shall invest renovating and developing them. Spend money. Don't keep money. He described how food prices are increasing at a greater rate than the interest paid on a bank deposit. So if we print books and sell them at 100% profit, no bank can give such a return for their investment. Gagamuni said, yes, your books will be our bank. Prabhupada said, yes, we've got business. Why shall I keep it in the bank? So he concluded, this is our policy. If your money is idle, we can spend it in our books, in our purchasing land, in temples, temple construction, and developing. So Prabhupada did actually set up one fund meant for developing book distribution and obtaining and developing land. We have our Mayapur Vrindavan Trust, the MVT. If you've been to Vrindavan, you'll see there a nice tract of land, and it's been developed very nicely. So it offers a nice facility for devotees to come. You can stay for some time in Vrindavan and live comfortably and do your spiritual practices. So that was the end of that afternoon meeting. In the evening, Prabhupada gave a short darshan. There was some discussion about whether Prabhupada should visit Mahabaleshwar, a hill station near Pune, where one of our Bombay members, Mr. Malhotra, has offered land and a house. That's where you're from, right? Prabhupada was considering going there when we leave here on the 25th. This is August. But Mr. Panilal Pitti, a life member with whom Prabhupada had stayed in March in 1975, advised him to wait. He said that it was not a good idea at this time of the year, as some 300 inches of rain has fallen during the monsoon. So Prabhupada decided that he will go to Delhi as previously arranged, and he will visit Mahabaleshwar later in the year. So we did do that actually. Prabhupada went there. He was going to spend 3 days there. This family that donated a piece of land, they were very nice. They had a big food company, I think the Wakefield company. Is that Wakefield? Yeah. Anyway, they were, what was their names? Malhotra, yes. So Prabhupada did actually go there in December. But when we first arrived in Pune, we had breakfast at the Malhotra's house. Then we took the drive up into the hills. It was quite strenuous for Prabhupada. On the way up, he was feeling sick, but somehow or another he avoided it. But on the way down, because when you go up to Mahabaleshwar, you can go up one side from the Pune side, right? And then when you want to leave, you can go over the top and down the other side. And then that brings you back into Bombay. So Prabhupada, he did that, and it was very difficult for him. It was the only time that I ever saw Prabhupada really kind of physically distressed. Was going on these winding roads, and even in England in 76 July, Prabhupada went there, and just taking the car ride from the airport to the Bhaktivedanta Manor, we had to stop twice for Prabhupada to vomit. So that rocking motion, just the cars going back and forth, was very difficult for him. Anyway, so he decided he would go to Mahabaleshwar at the end of the month, which he did do. We ended up only spending 1 day there, though, and then he went back to Bombay. So August 21st, 1976, it's a Ekadasi. Prabhupada had only a small bowl of milk and a separate bowl of tapioca for his breakfast. And for lunch, a simple meal of kutta atta, paratha, a potato and fruit salad. So Prabhupada called us in early, about 5 a.m., and he complained quite strongly that he could not translate during the whole of the night because there was a dog in one of the neighboring houses which was howling and whining. He said that we should lodge an official complaint to the police that the owners are mistreating the animal. So we did that. Mahamsa was here. But that was what I saw also in Fiji when Prabhupada went there in mid-76. The same thing. It seemed, at that time I don't think that Fiji even had any television stations. It was a very, simple, idyllic kind of lifestyle. So I thought, with it being so detached from any, kind of big cities environment, Prabhupada would be able to do a lot of translation work. So we arrived one day and we set up Prabhupada's translation paraphernalia. I came into Prabhupada's room the following morning and Prabhupada told me that he was unable to do his translation work because there were so many dogs howling. They start off in little groups, and then one group howls, then the others come and they howl, and all night long this howling business is going on. So therefore Prabhupada, again, he couldn't do his work because of the dogs. Now a few months later, here in Hyderabad, we got the same situation. Prabhupada wanted to translate but couldn't because the dogs were making too much noise. And he was quite serious about it. There's this disturbance from the dogs, so report it to the police and tell them to stop it. I don't know whether he actually did that, but it was Prabhupada's request. Oh, okay, just 1 second. So, that's good. Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya and his men came up to see Prabhupada in his rooms to bid him goodbye. They expressed great happiness with the installation and considered it an honor to have been invited to conduct the ceremonies. You see the pictures there in Prabhupada's museum. Sampat Kumar was there with his men. Equally appreciative of them, Prabhupada urged them to sustain this spirit of cooperation and help spread Krishna consciousness to the world. He happily posed for a photograph with them, and he accepted a gift of a Shalagram Shila from Sampat Kumar before they left. Okay, so later in the day, Saurabh Prabhu arrived from Bombay, and Prabhupada eagerly heard from him and Gopal Krishna as he took his massage about the development in Bombay. So Saurabh was Prabhupada's architect. He had designed the Vrindavan temple. He designed the temple in Juhu Beach. He was working on several other temples also, and he did some excellent service. So the building in Juhu Beach was coming up very rapidly through 1976. Saurabh was in regular contact with Prabhupada about the design and the facilities, the utility of them. So Prabhupada, as Prabhupada took his massage, Gopal Krishna and Saurabh reported to him he was keen to know about the Janmashtami festival, especially since a preliminary report suggested that only 600 guests had attended. Saurabh assured Srila Prabhupada that the festival had been a big success, and he estimated at least 20,000 visitors had come over a 2-day period. He said that people had crammed in everywhere, even sitting on the balconies and the scaffolding, etc. Referring to the low estimate, somebody had said only 600 people came, and Prabhupada found out. He demanded to know where the false information had come from. He said, "Who is that nonsense who has come and said this? Who is that rascal?" Gopal Krishna sheepishly revealed that it was a 13-year-old boy, one of the early contingent of Gurukul boys. They'd come from America and then they were staying in Bombay and Mayapur, etc. So one of those boys had passed through, and he had reported to some of the devotees that there was only about 600 people came for Janmashtami. Then Prabhupada got a proper report that there was actually about 20,000. So Prabhupada wasn't very happy about the false report, and he shook his head in mild disgust. "Oh, so you were believing this boy? He is authority? Here is the authority. You take the information. How did you believe this boy?" So pleased was Srila Prabhupada with Saurabh's news that he offered the Bombay temple the Shalagram Shila that Sampat Kumar had just given. Shalagram Shila has already been worshipped in Mayapur, and now the Bombay temple is becoming well established. He has decided to expand the worship there also. So that was an initial idea. Prabhupada immediately thought, well, we're getting serious about building temples. We should try to raise up the level of the worship, make it very grand. So that for that they want normally the temples that all have Shalagram Shilas, but at this time in ISKCON's development there was practically just, I think, maybe 1 or 2 temples that had a Shalagram Shila. Prabhupada was waiting to see that we were competent enough and the worship was as a high enough standard that we could worship Shalagram Shila. So that was his first take on that. So Saurabh informed Srila Prabhupada that construction has resumed and was proceeding quickly. They are now putting up the walls of Prabhupada's quarters. He unfolded the plans to show Srila Prabhupada the layout. So Prabhupada's sitting room will be about 32 square feet, and there is a bedroom, secretary and servants' rooms, plus a kitchen and reception. There'll also be a room on the roof for Prabhupada to enjoy the open air and fresh sea breezes. And Prabhupada seemed to be very pleased with the whole development. So this is, of course, Prabhupada's quarters on the top floor of the hotel there in Juhu Beach. So Saurabh went over all the other details of the temple and the guest house facility. Provision has been made for a bank at the front entrance. Several of the bigger banks are interested, and Prabhupada told Saurabh to go with whoever offers the best rate per square foot. So this is something that Prabhupada introduced, was having a bank as part of the setup, both in Vrindavan and other places. One might question, why should we, in a temple, why should we have a banking facility? Why should we have a post office? Prabhupada wanted that, there be a postal branch there. And the idea was that the people in the local area, if they have facility close to the temple or in the temple building, then automatically when they're doing their regular business, then at the same time they'll get darshan, they'll see the deities, they'll do chanting, etc. So he was keen to develop that. So all the other construction is moving ahead. The second floor slab of the temple is being cast, and in one more month they will lay down the main slab for the darshan mandap, and after that they will start building the domes. Saurabh explained that the domes will be made from precast rings of reinforced concrete, stacked one on top of the other. If it works here, he will probably use the same method for the Mayapur temple construction. The tiling work has already begun in the deity basement, and Saurabh was confident of the overall progress. So they guaranteed that at the end of this year, the building, that means the guest house, will be complete. And of course, that includes the temple. The only thing which will definitely go on is this marble work and the carving. That is a very big job. But we can always continue. This is mainly outside work, finishing. So we get the inside ready for the opening. So just, Prabhupada was telling me to concentrate on getting the interior portions of the new temple fixed up. The other work, if there was some chance of delay, they could always do that at a later date, the outside of the temple. So Saurabh was satisfied. Srila Prabhupada was satisfied, both with the progress report and Saurabh. He asked him if he had checked the Hyderabad temple. I haven't been around, Saurabh told him, but it looks very nice. Prabhupada smiled. It is after your design, he reminded him. Yes, Saurabh acknowledged, but I haven't been in Hyderabad for at least 8 months. But Prabhupada reassured him, they've done nice work. So he was very happy with Saurabh and happy with the progress of the buildings. So Prabhupada told Saurabh to wait until the sanction is actually given. Right, so that was Saurabh giving that report on Bombay and here in Hyderabad. Saurabh wondered whether he should begin to develop plans for Mayapur, since Jayapataka Swami had told him the acquisition of land would come through within about 2 months. So Prabhupada, we mentioned it the other day, Prabhupada had actually met this man in the airport in Delhi, Mr. Chowdhury. It turned out that he was one of the big shots in the land department in Calcutta. So we had, with his encouragement, Prabhupada made an application for the government to acquire 300 acres of land in Mayapur. And Jayapataka Maharaj had been working on that on a regular basis. And it finally looked like we would get that permission. So Prabhupada told Saurabh to wait for doing any work in Mayapur until the acquisition of the land comes through. So Prabhupada told him to wait until the sanction is actually given. He said, unless the government gives the land, it may be difficult for us to get everything we need because of all the opposition. If we remain Krishna-conscious Vaishnavas, he said, then our position is strong. If there is slackness, then they will come and kill us. That we have to see. Apaniyachari Prabhu Jive Sikayala. Our behavior should be very clear. Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. Then it will be all right. So Prabhupada was cautious. He was moving ahead. But he told the devotees, don't try to do too much at once. Wait until we've seen what this application has yielded, and then we can think about moving on. And of course, this was 1976. The Communist Party came into power in 1977. As soon as they came into power, that was it. Whatever agreements or arrangements we tried to make, that was all lost. And it stayed that way for a long time. But just about 3 or 4 years ago, because they had a lot of political changes, and as a result of that, things opened up. And our devotees, they again made an application. And the end result, of course, now we've seen the temple in Mayapur. So Prabhupada said that there will always be people trying to disturb this movement, just as various demons like Aghasura and Bakasura, they came to disturb Krishna. He reminded us of a Bombay film producer who had made a film in which he depicted the devotees as drug-addicted hippies. So that Devananda, Prabhupada said, he made that Hare Krishna film. So he wanted to do some harm. And now he is gone, finished. Nobody talks about Devananda. They talk about our movement. So, do any of you know who this Devananda is? He was some kind of big film producer in Bombay. And he initially had kind of made friends with the devotees. They were innocent. They didn't know what kind of a man he was. And then the next thing that we knew was he put this film depicting the devotees. And there was some catchy tune, Dum Ada Dum or something like that. I don't know what it means, but that was, so wherever we would go, then the little kids especially, but they would sing Dum Ada Dum, Dum Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, like that. So these are the rascals. And now Prabhupada's making his comment. He said, so you remain strong in your spiritual activities. These Agasuras, Bakasuras, we don't care for them. But we should take precaution and counteract to reduce them. Real strength will remain from Krishna Balaram's strength. Balaram means strength. Nayam Atma, Balahina Labhyo. If you are not supported by Balaram, then it is not possible. So we've got our Balaram, Krishna Balaram temple, now in Europe, also we've got Krishna Balaram. So when Prabhupada was in France in 76, a couple of months before this conversation, he had actually installed Krishna Balaram in New Mayapur in France there. And describing New Mayapur in France, Prabhupada told Saurabh and Gagamuni, Nitai Gaur and Balaram, Brajendra Nandana Jai Krishna Sachi Sutta Hoyle saying, He is now Sachi Sutta, Balarama Hoyle Nitai, and Balarama has become Nitai. So these two brothers and devotees are very nice. 200 devotees there are, and he is taking prasadam on the open lawn. Prabhupada's giving a description of the temple in France. And they're taking prasadam on the open lawn. Very nice. Presently, they are growing vegetables sufficient for their consumption and for the Paris temple. Fresh, nice vegetables, flowers, grains, also they have got. Barley and wheat, milk also from their own cows. So if there is milk, if there is food grain, if there is vegetable, then what do you want more? Enough we can grow. So they've got there 200 acres of land, some portion of the land they are utilizing, and that is becoming sufficient for them. And if they grow the whole land, then we can make a good trade. Just like in Philadelphia, they're producing so much milk, and they're selling outside $1,500 per month. So that Philadelphia project, that's Gita Nagari. Prabhupada visited there. So Prabhupada was referring to our farm in Port Royal, Pennsylvania. He praised the president, Paramananda Prabhu, describing him as very expert and fondly recalling the chapatis cooked for him by Paramananda's wife, Satyabhama Dasi. He gave a broad grin. When she brought the chapatis, it was so thick, and I thought, oh, how shall I eat this? But when I ate it, it was so nice, soft and sweet, so I ate everything. So that's Prabhupada's program. Self-sufficiency as much as possible. If you can grow your own crops, make your own cloth, build your own house, then make your own medicines. These 4 items, Prabhupada said, you should get land and utilize it for this purpose. People can live a peaceful life. They can get the necessities. Chant Hare Krishna. Despite the grand plans and huge projects that he is developing, Prabhupada's reflections of his recent tour revealed that his ambitions for his Krishna consciousness movement are really quite simple and modest. All the boys and girls, he said, were very happy. So that I want. That I live happily and chant Hare Krishna. That's all. We don't want unnecessary luxury. Anartha nivritti syat. Anartha should be reduced, nil. to the bare necessities. Just like this material thing that we require for preaching. It is not anartha, but when it is used for sense gratification, that is anartha. Anything for sense gratification, that is unwanted, anartha. And anything for Krishna consciousness, that is spiritual. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. So whatever we are using, it is not material, it is all spiritual. So Prabhupada also discussed with Saurabh the proposed gift of land in Mahabaleshwar. Although Prabhupada stuck to his decision not to go there until at least October, Saurabh's description of the place was so appealing that Prabhupada told him to go ahead and accept it. Gopal Krishna explained that the donor, Mr. Malhotra, wanted Prabhupada to decide after seeing it personally. But Prabhupada said, we shall go in October, so when Saurabh is seen, that is my seeing. Gopal Krishna said Mr. Malhotra's only condition was that he wanted us to actually develop it. Prabhupada enthusiastically said that he was willing to spend several lakhs of rupees there. He said that residential quarters could be built and the householders from Bombay could live there. Do they do that? They do. It wasn't a big piece of land, it was just like a couple of acres. But, okay, so after Saurabh, Gargamuni and Gopal Krishna left, Mahamsa came in to inform Srila Prabhupada that the door for his balcony was finally completed and would be fitted while he took his bath. So where is that? Oh. Mahamsa Swami is a soft-spoken, mild-mannered fellow, and Prabhupada smiled after he went out. As I finished his massage, he commented to me that Mahamsa was doing nicely. I offered that he was very sincere, and Prabhupada agreed. Everybody likes him. He has no enemy. Nobody has complained against him. So I said that he's very even-tempered. Prabhupada chuckled. Neither he has complained against anybody. He does not complain, and nobody complains against him. So he added that Mahamsa's mother had been very sorry when he had joined, but now she is very happy. What time are we? Okay. All right, so we'll stop there with the narrative. If there's anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful pastimes which you have described. Prabhuji, one question is that you told that the income which we receive from karmic sources, if they are utilized again in karmic activities, then that will be sinful. But what about if, as devotees, if we get that karmic income but we are utilizing it not in direct Krishna conscious activities like preaching or distributing books or rather feeding people, because now along with the cooperation with the municipality, they are feeding people 5 rupees meals. So is it does it come under a karmic activities or?
Say that last little bit again.
Direct prasadam distribution using the income which we receive from outside, does it come under karmic activities or?
You have to speak clearly. I'm a little deaf anyway.
Other than government gives funds, recently has given to HKM Abnesh. So they use that facility to feed people in hospitals and poor people who are sleeping on the roads. Does it come under that karmic activity?
I think the question is that acts of charity, right? Charity. Distribution of I'm trying to my brain's gone blank. Does the distribution of prasadam fall under the karmic activity? Is that what you're saying? No, I mean anybody who distributes prasadam, it's a transcendental activity. It's nothing to do with material life. If people are actually offering to the deities and there if sorry, I've lost my threads. Anyway, whatever is done in Krishna's service, whether it be distribution of prasadam or anything else, if it's done honestly for the benefit of Krishna, then you get the spiritual benefit. If we don't do things sincerely, if we don't offer whatever we give out, then it may seem very nice, or giving clothes or giving assistance somehow or another from the government, but it's not spiritual. Things have to be done for the pleasure of Krishna, not for any other purpose. So, the prasadam distribution is transcendental. If it's not, I know this has come up as a question, that the mass distribution of prasadam, whether it's spiritual or not, some devotees feel that it's some devotees feel that it's just simply like yes, thank you, philanthropic activity, but it all depends on the consciousness of the people involved. If you actually are making a prasadam for the the benefit of yeah. So if it's done honestly, if it's done with the proper consciousness. Okay. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, Prabhupada has been done so much to the world and humanity, and Prabhupada has said like still 50% of his mission is left. That means is it only Varnashrama? If yes, why that much is important? Because entire is whatever he has done, is it only 50%, and is a 50% is belongs to Varnashrama? Is that much importance?
So is there, what was that last bit?
Varnashrama, 50%.
Yes. So what's the question?
Why is that much importance to Varnashrama? Yeah, that is it 50% is left over with the Varnashrama itself?
Prabhupada said many places that the Varnashram system is important. It's the forms the basis for civilized human life. If you don't organize human society along the lines of Varnashram, then it's not. Prabhupada made it very clear that it's not. No. I'm sorry, I've lost my thread.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm going to finish at this point. Right.
I want to thank you a few minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we had invited Prabhu to come in November, but Prabhu preferred that he will come during this time because he said there is Prabhupada's appearance day and I will speak about Prabhupada in Hyderabad. So he kindly came here. I was there in the lecture that Prabhu gave in the opposite building also. That was about Prabhupada on Janmashtami day. How Prabhupada was keeping fast till 10:45 at night. And we saw the deities beautifully decorated. The temple hall was flooded with people. And Mahamsa Swami actually asked Prabhupada to bless the devotees by coming here. And Prabhupada not only came here, he showered flowers on the devotees also from there, from the top. So it was so personal. That was on Janmashtami day. Prabhu was in great detail, he told what all Prabhupada did from morning to night. That was what he spoke there. And here, as you see in the photo there, the South Indian Brahmins coming for the installation. Prabhupada gave them very specific instructions. One thing he told them, please don't think these Western-bodied Vaishnavas are ordinary. They are militias or they have come from the West. They have great faith in Krishna. And also he told them, don't think Krishna takes birth like us. Krishna's appearance and disappearance in this world is like the sun appearing in the east and disappearing in the west. He told them. And then while talking to them, he said that please support this movement, support these devotees who have come from the west and help them to expand preaching in Hyderabad. So you can see Prabhupada, according to Desh Kalapatra, very specific instructions he gave. Another thing he was telling here was when he brought these western-bodied devotees to India, although some Indians considered it a great success, they thought that, oh, this Swami has even made the Westerners chant the holy name and brought them here. That was only few people. There were others who were not willing to accept the Westerners, thinking that maybe they will be like CIA agents. They will come and they will take over India like the British or Mughals were ruling. They were suspicious. So at that time, Prabhupada asked his disciples to go around to all the different organizations in India, temples in India, and also get some letter of authenticity of ISKCON and appreciation of Prabhupada's books and review for his books, which they did. One of the intentions of Prabhupada was that he faced one type of challenge in the West and he faced another type of challenge in the East when he came back. To make Indians understand this genuine movement of ISKCON. So, in this way, a lot of people very deeply appreciated Prabhupada's writings, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And all that was collected in the form of a book and it was published, Prabhu was selling. In those days, the reviews were very famous, he was selling. So in this way, Prabhu spoke on different facets of Prabhupada's preaching on Janmashtami Day and speaking to South Indian Brahmins. And today, and yesterday also we heard about Prabhupada in Calcutta. Prabhupada wanted this Victoria Terminus. He told them, if you give me this, I'll make it the headquarters of the whole world. Still they didn't give. Then Prabhupada said, okay, then I'll make it in Mayapur. After that. Of course, Mayapur, we have much bigger land. So, Prabhupada was always spirited for expanding the movement. He was always, preaching and making people understand what is. So, Prabhu in Calcutta, he had actually done a lot of good work in BRC, probably some of you may know. BRC stands for Bhaktivedanta Research Center. All the old books of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Goswami's writings, they were all preserved by Prabhu. Prabhu was the one who was preserving it many years. I remember when I went to Calcutta once, he asked me, Radhesham, do you have anybody a group of devotees who can take care of this work? Gauranga Prabhu and me, we both were there in Calcutta once. So later on, Gauranga Prabhu took a lot of interest in BRC, Bhaktivedanta Reading, Bhaktivedanta Research Center. And then Prabhu handed over the responsibility to them. So he is always concerned about preserving Prabhupada's legacy and also the Acharya's legacy. Yesterday I asked him, how you have such a photographic memory that you remembered so much and wrote this transcendental diary, 5 volumes like this, what he had experienced with Prabhupada. So he said he did 2 intelligent things. Whenever Prabhupada was talking to people, he got it recorded. He was recording it. And he was noting down the place, the people and everything in a diary also. So combining the diary and the recordings, he could bring out this masterpiece publication called Transcendental Diary. If any of you want to have a copy, you can meet Smita Chaitanya Prabhu. Venugopal Prabhu is here. Who? You can keep it here. Raseshan Madhav Prabhu. These are... okay. These are the copies. If you order it, you will get it. And Prabhu's health is not very good. Still, he has taken trouble to come and be with us for 3 days and give his association. Because he's a lover of Prabhupada. He's personally served Prabhupada and read the relevant portions that will touch our hearts and inspired us very deeply. Let us thank him with one Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Grace Hariswari Prabhu ki jai. His Grace Anandamaya Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who want books, they can come down here. Prabhuji will sign and give to you. They can leave their address and they can pay. The books will be sent to their address.